I'm currently in my living room because my bookshelf is in my living room and I want a new setting, and I want oh hot. I can't turn on the fan because you would hear it and the audio would be so bad. Anyway, so I'm back again. I'm back. I've been inactive for like what, 2 months? After being inactive for like 6 months, I just posted one video and then went back to being inactive again. Well, you know, I found out that I'm actually really good at procrastinating. It seems like the only thing that I'm good at. I'm basically procrastinating all like my activities for school by filming this video. Anyway, so let's get started. So I've read a few books in February and January and February. Right, yeah, I read a few books. So let's get started. It's so freaking hot. Oh my god, do you like my background? Yeah, I will post a bookshelf tour and organization or disorganization because it looks disorganized than it was before. Yeah, I might post that soon. I might be more active when this school year ends. So yeah, I actually have a few video ideas in mind. So yeah, I might end up being active. So the first book that I have read in January, the first book that I have finished this year is Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton. I started this book around December, at the end of December, I think. Back in December, and I finished it around January 1 or 2. Can't remember. Yeah, I rated this book 5 stars. I should probably give you like a short description of the book. I have the first book and the third book. I don't have a copy of the second book yet. They're different editions and different sizes. Oh my god. I reread the first book last year because I can't remember anything about it. So it follows the story of our main character, Amani Alhiza. She's a sharpshooter and she's stuck in this dead-end town. It's just not the best place to live in, and her mother just died and she really wants to get out of that town because who wouldn't? You know, she wants to move to Isman, a place that her mother described as this paradise, this place that's full of opportunities. So yeah, she wants to go there because her dead mother just like keeps telling her the story about the beautiful place called Isman. And then she met this stranger, this foreign stranger, and they met at this like I can't remember. Anyway, they ran away together. They ran away and we follow their story from that. I'm really bad at giving descriptions because I can barely remember the book. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about the first book, mainly because nothing much happened in this book. I'm pretty sure this trilogy is a slow burner. It's rather slow. I highly recommend this book to Greek mythology lovers, just mythology lovers. If you enjoyed PJO, Percy Jackson world, then you would enjoy this book. It's quite similar. I absolutely enjoy the mythology parts of the book. I really do enjoy. I love mythologies so much, particularly Greek mythology, and this is quite similar to Percy Jackson. Yeah, we are introduced to many creatures. Like there's this magical horse that changes. Like I can't remember, but it's basically like a magical horse. There's a lot of mythical creatures and I think it's like really interesting. There's like powers involved. There's like shape-shifting and mind-bending, illusionist, those type of powers that's similar to Percy Jackson. Yeah, there's like basically demigods. It really is similar to Percy Jackson when it comes to the world building. This book shocked me because it's YA. It didn't really shock me, but I was just surprised because this is YA. It's a young adult book. There's like blatant cursing. I think this is the first book that I've read that had like actual curses, because usually in other books the authors will just make up like curses, you know, like by the angel or gods or like saints or like God is above. At the end part of the book, it made me cry. It made me tear up. It didn't make me cry, but I shed a few tears. Oh my god, lovable characters. I love the characters so much. I don't think, well, I'm annoyed at certain characters. All of the characters have like interesting backstory, and almost all of them are significant to the story, and I really love that about it. Oh my god, don't even get me started on the female characters. The women in this book are just amazing. They're iconic. I love them. They're so badass. They're such a bad bitch. I love them so much. They're so strong. They're so powerful. Oh my god, women in this book are amazing. Have I mentioned that our main character is a sharpshooter? She's a gunslinger. It's amazing. There's one character in particular that I adore. I think she's pretty iconic and she's so strong. She's so fierce. I freaking love her. Her name's Imin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but I love that character. She's so iconic. Love the plot. Actually, I really do love the plot. And another character that I love so much is Sam. Apart from Imin, he's one of my favorite characters in this trilogy. I think he's so hilarious. He's sarcastic, he's funny. You need to read the book to know why I love that character so much, because he's so hilarious. He has like an interesting interesting powers. He also has like an interesting yet tragic love story. I wouldn't even call it love story, more like a tragedy. Alvin Hamilton is one of those authors who's not scared of just killing her characters. Reminds me of a particular author. The next book that I've read is Love and Olives. I rated it 3.5 stars. Love and Olives is, guess what the main character's name is? Olive.
I also want to include that our love interest would call our main character the Greek word for olive because she hates her name. So he would call her Kalamata instead, and then he would also give like random facts about the fruit olive. And it's just so cute. He would always call her Kalamata. It's just so freaking cute. I don't know why.
So our main character, Olive, her father left her when she was 8. Like, poof, gone, vanished, never coming back. And before that, before he left, they really had like a special connection. They love like researching about Atlantis. But yeah, her father vanished like when she was 8, and he left 26 things, and she valued those 26 things, although she doesn't really want to admit it. And those 26 things represent 26 chapters in the book. When I first read the book, I thought that the 26 things are just like, I don't know, dumb. I mean, it's kind of, I didn't really see the point. I just don't understand how those 26 things are significant to the story at all. But when you finish the book, it will make sense. And then her father, out of the blue, sent her a postcard saying that I don't know, her father reached out to her saying that, yo, you should come here in Santorini, Greece, like, you know, hang out with me, why not, you know? Like, yeah, her father called her and that, and she was like skeptical, but her mother forced her, and then she went to Greece. I'm so bad at giving descriptions, but this book is Mamma Mia inspired. Yeah, it is Mamma Mia inspired. So if you love Mamma Mia, then this book might just be for you. It captured the beauty of Santorini very well. I love it. It felt like I was actually there. I love that about it because it really was adventurous. It felt like I'm in a different place. It makes me want to go there this instant. It's a good summer read. If you're like looking for a good summer read, then this book is it. Is it summer? You know what? Earlier, I just found out that there's no summer in the Philippines. There's no summer in the Philippines. My AP teacher just told us about that. Like, she told us, did you know that summer doesn't doesn't happen in the Philippines. We only have 2 seasons, dry and wet season. We don't have summer here. I rated this 3.5 stars because I wasn't really that invested in the book. I was distracted. You know, I was reading another book. I was reading 2 books at the same time, and that other book just captured my attention. It captured my soul, that it made me continue reading that other book and forget about this one. It wasn't bad, but I don't really have any strong feelings. There's a part that I cried over, and it has something to do with the 26 things. The romance part wasn't that spectacular. It was cute, it was fine, because its main focus is the main character's relationship with her dad. Its main focus is basically family and abandonment. This book also reminds me of Gorgeous by Taylor Swift.
It reminds me of that song mainly because of the line that says, I got a boyfriend, he's older than us. He's in a club doing I don't know what. Our main character has a boyfriend, and I'm pretty sure he's older than her, and they have trouble communicating with each other, so they don't know what the other is doing most of the time because they don't communicate much. The other line is, you're so gorgeous, it actually hurts. It's heavily emphasized in a book about how gorgeous the other guy was, about how pretty his eyes were. The other line is, you should think about the consequence of you touching my hand in a darkened room. And a similar scene happened in the book. And it's just so cute.
I think that boyfriend was insignificant. Like, I even forgot about him. Like, oh, she has a boyfriend? I keep forgetting that he existed. We could have had a story without him just fine. It's obvious that they would break up eventually, but when they did, it just happened. It wasn't like anything explosive. The other book that I was talking about earlier was Kingdom of the Wicked. I'm obsessed with this book. I love it so much. I rated this book 5 stars. Of course, I love it. I love the cover. When this book arrived, my mother commented about the cover saying, oh my god, what is this? This is so weird. This is so demonic. What is this? What is this? Mom, it's art. She commented and she's like convinced I'm part of a demonic group. No! I rated this book 5 out of 5 stars because it was just really, really addicting. I am obsessed with this book. I love the world so much. I love a good witchy book. This one is a witchy book and I really love it. I love the magic parts, like the ritual magic parts, like the spells parts. As I said, it was really addicting. It includes a lot of the tropes that I enjoy. I love this book so much. I love the parts where it gives description about what they're wearing. I really, really do, because they would wear like these pretty gowns and it's like gothic-y. I love it. I love the atmosphere and the tone of the book. I love it's the gothic aesthetic.
By atmosphere and gothic aesthetic, I meant the vibe, the whole vibe of the book, like the weather, the rain, the gowns, the fact that it's set in the late 1800s, and the castles, the manners, and the murder, death, and blood. Oh, and like fancy daggers, the balls, like the masquerade balls, but I'm pretty sure that's in the second book.
I love every part, every single thing in this book. This book is just my cup of tea.
This book reminds me of another Taylor Swift song. It reminds me of that part in Cruel Summer. He looks up grinning like the devil, and the other one from Wildest Dreams. He's so tall, handsome as hell. He's so bad, but he does it so well. That is a description of wrath. That's wrath. I'm so good at this. Obviously didn't give like a good review in that video, so I'm just gonna give you one now. The characters, I freaking love the characters. None of them are like plain. They're all really interesting, especially the 12 princes. I found them really interesting, and I hope that in the next book, like in the third book, their history, their story would be explored. This can be like this could be like a Hades. It's giving me Hades and Persephone. Yeah, I looked it up. It is like a Hades Persephone retelling. Like any YA fantasy books, or like any fantasy books in general, it can be like confusing, especially with the world building, but it does work out in the end, I guess. But it can be confusing, but it's fine for me because I don't care. I love the whole world. I love it. There's witches, there's spells, there's demons, there's vampires, there's werewolves. I love it. I love it. It can start a bit slow for other readers, but it's not for me because I actually like it when it's like a slow burner. This book is a slow burner.
I'm pretty sure you have already seen this book a lot on Book Talk, so I don't think it's necessary for me to give you a description. I'm not going to talk much about this book because I want to make a separate video about this. The next book that I read is Bookish and the Beast. It's enemies to lovers. I'm pretty sure it's the third book in a series. I haven't read the first two books because I'm not really interested in them. It's enchanting. It really is enchanting. The part where they first met, where our two main characters met, is enchanting, and it reminds me of Taylor Swift's song, the way they pined over each other. The first time that they met was so magical. It was so enchanting. I don't want to say more about that part, but the part where they first met was just so freaking cute. The first chapter, I thought I was reading the wrong book because there was a knife involved in the first chapter, and from what I knew, it was a contemporary YA book, and why is there a knife involved? There's like a knife to the other person's throat. Oh, we have queer characters. Our main character, one of our main characters, it's dual POV. Our main character, Vance Rains, is bisexual. A lot of the characters are queer. The other main character's best friend is non-binary, and they're iconic. There's one part in the book that they did this iconic and sweetest and cutest thing in the book that happened in a football game. The book is just so freaking cute. And have I mentioned the guy is British? There's a castle. This book took place in a castle. Like, the guy lives in an actual castle. Like, it's a modern castle, but it's still a castle nonetheless. A lot of scenes took place in a library. I just love being surrounded by books and reading about being surrounded by books. Rosie's passion for reading and loving books was really relatable. My favorite thing about this book is that me and the main character, Rosie, have the same height. We're the same height, and I just love that. It's like my number one favorite thing about this book, apart from the castle and the library. It's one of my favorite things about this book is that we have the same height. I don't know, okay? Small people lives matter. Oh my god, I'm not even small. I mean, technically for a Filipino, I'm quite tall. Representation, okay? Be inclusive. I love the inclusivity. It's much easier for me to imagine their line of sight. It's easier for me to see things from their perspective if we have the same height. Bookish and the Beast is about our two main characters. It's dual POV. The guy's name is Vance Rains, and the other one is Rosie Thorne. what's her name? Rosie Thorne? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure her name is Rosie. I can't remember what her last name was. So Rosie, our girl Rosie was driving. Okay, it was late. It was nighttime. It was dark outside. So she was driving, and then it was really dark, and she almost hit a dog that was. Yeah, she almost hit a dog. She went outside. She went out of her car to check what happened, and she saw a dog, and she wanted to check if the dog was alright, but the dog ran away. So she followed the dog because she really needs to know if he's alright, and he was really cute. So yeah, she followed the dog, and then they ended up in a castle. They ended up in a castle, a modern castle, but a castle. Yeah, for some reason she decided to go inside. I mean, who wouldn't? If you saw a castle, of course you would trespass. I mean, if I were in her position, I would have done the same. So she went inside the castle, and yeah, she came across the library, and she's like a book nerd. She's a book lover. She's obsessed with books. So of course she went inside this it's a beautiful library. It's floor to ceiling. So of course she's tempted to go inside, and inside the library she saw a particular series, a particular sci-fi series that she's absolutely obsessed with. She looked at it. She looked at the first one, and she was like, entranced. And then someone from behind her, a deep British voice, obviously the guy saw her and like, oh my god, a trespasser, and like, what are you doing here? So obviously she panicked, she ran, and she like unknowingly had the book with her, and she ended up falling into a pool, and the book ended up getting wet. And it's a first edition, so obviously that is painful, and that would cost a lot. Soon enough, she found out that the guy was actually Vance Raines. Vance Raines plays the role of her fictional crush in a movie adaptation. So she was like, oh my god, this is Vance Raines. Her father can't afford to pay for that book, so as a payment, she would need to reorganize like the whole library. Obviously, they hate each other. Like, the guy is like skeptical of her because he's like a actor, and the girl is a fangirl. So like, what if she like leaked where he is? Vance Raines is like Hannah Montana-ing. His father sent him there because he's like the bad boy of Hollywood, because he doesn't really have like a good reputation. Anyway, he stays in a castle with his uncle, and yeah, it's basically close proximity trope. Yay! The next book that I'm going to talk about is Not Here to Be Liked by Michelle Quash. Anyway, Eliza Kwan. So Eliza, she wants to be editor-in-chief, so she's running for that position. She has everything that one would need to be the perfect leader. Like, she's capable of it. She's capable for the job, and she's perfect for the job, and she knows that. She's confident. She doesn't really care about what other people think. Then suddenly this ex-jock Len DeMartile like decided to run for that position as well. When she found out about that, she wasn't worried at all, because she knows that she's capable, despite the fact that he's like kind of popular. He's like an ex-jock. Anyway, she's like really confident that she's going to win. Like, he's nothing, like just a small bump in the road. Turns out that small bump in the road is actually a mountain, because the guy ended up winning. And she asked why did he win? Like, why not me? She asked them, and then they explained to her that he's a guy and he's more of a leader than she was. She was just too much. She ended up making like a manifesto, but she didn't plan on posting it. The next day, it ended up being online, and then she was trending, and everyone was so freaking mean to her. Like everyone was like, oh my god, she's like overreacting. Like, we don't really care. Like, what the hell? Oh my god, the first few chapters was hard for me because my anger issues just cannot. Like, someone wrote feminazi In her locker, someone put a bunch of tampons on her locker. She just flipped them off like, I don't care. I love the book. I enjoyed it so much. It's just low-key enemies to lovers. It's not academic rivals to lovers, but it is rivals to lovers, but not academic rivals. I don't think you would call it that. It is a really good feminist book. I love those parts, and it breaks off stereotypes. The main character's mom reminds me of my mom so much that I am convinced that the author was writing about my mom. The romance part, I think it was really cute. It was fine. It was really cute. It was really cute.
I forgot to mention, but I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because the character was really hard to like. She's really unlikable. Explains the title, Not Here to Be Liked, because she wasn't really there to be liked, and she internalizes misogyny, and it confuses me at first because I thought she was like starting a feminist movement and that this book is supposed to be a feminist book, and yet the main character internalizes misogyny, and that was really hard to read. Like, I found her annoying, and she's such a pick-me girl. Like, she criticizes other girls for being like girly, even her sister, and like it's kind of annoying. And I don't understand why everyone like they created this whole like feminist movement because of this guy that's supposed to be like the son of the face of the patriarchy, and I don't know why everyone like hates him. Like, he gets blamed over the certain things, and I don't think he's really the one to be blamed. And he really didn't do anything wrong, and then everyone is like doing this whole movement against him, and he obviously didn't deserve it.
The last book that I'm going to be talking about is Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This one is actual academic rivals to lovers. It's set in 24 hours. And that's the only thing that I don't like about this book. They explored the entirety of Seattle. They went through a lot in those 24 hours. And I don't know, I think the story would have been more authentic if it wasn't set in 24 hours. The whole scavenger hunt wolf thing, I think it's called Wolf. I think it's exhilarating and it's so adventurous as well. You would feel like you are really exploring Seattle. The main characters messed up a lot of times, and I like that about it. It makes it more realistic. And as a high school student, I think the fear of going to college and taking that another step in life and moving forward is portrayed really well, and I don't know, I really relate to that. This book is very inclusive and I love that about it. The romance part is really cute, but I think it would have been better if it took more time than just 24 hours. It took more time developing. I mean, it did, but there's more telling than showing. All for today's video. Goodbye.